Welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to share how you can play the GRECO attack, which begins with the move knight f3. Your opponent take out his c and you take out your sniper bishop. Now, when you move your knight to f3 along with the sniper to c4, this opening is called the Italian tomb. So, what happens in this position? Your opponent generally responds with bishop to c5, and then you play c3. The main idea is to play e4 and attack the center, especially the bishop. So over here, what you may do is you may wait for your opponent response and respond with d4 in the next move. Suppose your opponent plays knight to f6. Now he opens his c and is trying to attack your e4 pawn. If you are really concerned about this pawn, then you can simply play d3 and protect. Otherwise, the best move is pawn to d4. If your opponent captures it, then what you have to do is you may simply take it back. Now the most common played response is bishop to b4 check. You may simply move knight to c3, and this variation is called the GRECO attack. So over here, your opponent eliminates the e4 pawn. Now he believes that after capturing, he is going to gain a lot of advantage. So what you can do is simply castle and let Black to enjoy his dinner. So he takes his dinner by capturing the knight. You may take it back, and after he take it, you may observe that he is attacking the rook. What you may do is you must simply add some salt to his dinner by playing bishop to a3. Now you might be shocked. You might be saying that the sniper to a3, why is that move so good? Like, are you really sacrificing your rookie? Well, you are going to sacrifice your rookie so that you could get a cookie. Over here, if your opponent take it, then he forgot the sniper bishop, controlling the f8 and e7 square. So you can play your rookie to e1 killing check. Ultimately, if you bring the queen, then which flaky girlfriend is dying. Otherwise, if you bring the horsey, then what you may do? So you may continue with rookie capturing on e7. If you play king to f8, you go with rook 3, take on f7, king here, and then rook f8. Now rook to d7 and that will be the checkmate. So this is one of the tracks which you can try. Ultimately, I have another variation. Instead of bishop k3, you can also play queen b3. The main idea is to attack the f7 pawn. Now, how can you do it? Suppose your opponent captures the rook. You may continue with bishop take on f7. If he responds with king e7, then bishop keep at check and with the queen in the next move. Otherwise, if your opponent moves the king here, because he has to protect his girlfriend. So you can simply attack your lakey girlfriend by bishop g5, and that's the trap. So the queen is getting trapped and you can capture this in the next move. Let's go backwards and suppose your opponent chooses to be smart and goes with bishop take on c3 instead of knight death. Now what can you do? So you may simply push your pawn one step forward. You can observe that the pawn is already attacking the sniper. So you can keep this as an option. Otherwise, you can go with d5 and attack the knight. Now your opponent jump in his c towards e5. What you may do? So you can continue with the move queen to e2. You move your girlfriend to e2 and attack this. Generally, this is a pin. Now whatever your opponent responds with, suppose knight take on f3 check, you may go on with queen take f3. You can attack like this, followed by attacking this. Now, if your opponent moves bishop f6, then what you'll do? So you can go with queen take on e4 and touch the knight. Otherwise, if you protect his knight or protect his knight, then what you may do? Go on with b take c3. You may push the pawn forward. Otherwise, you can first play developing and then push. So this can be the development plan. Now, how can you play this? Okay, let us go backward and have the move variation and move pawn. Over here, instead of taking, you can play e5. The main idea is to attack the center. If your opponent protects the knight by moving the knight or hairs, suppose knight to e4, you may continue with the move bishop to d5 by moving the sniper here, attacking both the knights and the weak f7 pawn. So your opponent knight will be trapped. Hence, he has to make his horsey jumping to f2. You may take, after you give a check or whatever, you can move the king to e2 or f1, suppose king f1 and likakati. Your opponent over knight g4. You may continue with c take e4 by hopping the horsey. So this is how you will continue. Let us go back and have another variation. After e5, if you continue with d5, what you may do is simply move the sniper to b5 and attack this way. Ultimately, what he'll do is try to play knight there or whatever. You may go on the c8 equal, you play bishop, you may develop your bishop out and then castle quickly and develop your pieces by knight c3, a3 and all. So this is how you will continue. Now let us go back to the starting. And in this position, after you play c3, your opponent play knight f6, you strike in the center. And there are possible moves like bishop to d. Then you may simply capture the e5 pawn if your opponent piece greedy and takes. Now you might say that the horsey attacking the f2 followed by the sniper also. So what you'll do? Hence, or here, what you have to do is moving the queen to d5. You'll request your girlfriend to go to d5 so that you could capture your leggy grandpa. Now the leggy grandpa is completely trapped. If he try to castle, then he loses the horsey. So this is how you will play. Let us go backwards and suppose if we try knight g4, once again the plan is same. Then what you may do is order your sniper to get activated by getting sacrificed to f7 square. If he capture, what you may do is continue with knight g5 check supported by the sniper. Suppose he moved the king, what we have to do is to sacrifice capture the horsey. And this is how you will continue. Let us go backward and have the last variation. And that is bishop e7. What you may do is go on with d take d5. If we capture now this is not making sense because you can play the girlfriend to d5 and threaten the checkmate. You castle, you capture. Let us go backwards and if we play something like knight g4 or if we protect, okay, if we move the knight to g8, still you can play queen d5 and continue. Okay. Otherwise, if we play knight g4, then what you may do is still play queen d5, he'll castle, and then you can play x3, kicking the knight backward, and after your sniper captures double pawns created, you may simply develop your pieces, long castle, create pawn stones to push your pawns forward and attack the leggy grandpa. So this is how you can play the GRECO attack, capturing your leggy grandpa. And so if you enjoyed this, you may like the video and thanks for watching.